Sage Wanderer here. It's another cold morning in the van. So I would like to talk briefly about the concept of a hit list. You know, this is kind of hard for people to believe that Antifa would go to the trouble of putting together a hit list of people that they would target. And I have talked briefly about my sources for the hit list, coming directly from Antifa and also from watching hundreds and hundreds of hours of live streaming of these events and hearing them reference it and seeing them say things like, hey, get that guy's picture, put him on the list. Make sure you get that guy's picture. Yeah, make sure you get a good picture of him. So, if that's not enough for you to believe it, then let's talk about the historical significance for communist movements with hit lists. I'm going to turn this around, not disrespecting the flag, but just so you can see my face. There you go. So, in the viewer comments about the hit list, which is one of my highest ranking videos, is Antifa hit list and the purge. A Polish citizen who is a survivor and of the communist takeover of Poland, and he escaped communism, and I believe what he wrote, and it's historically true. In my studies of communist takeovers, the hit list is one of the key elements. It's often the thing they start working on even before they start training and planning for the takeover, is that they want to know who are the people that are going to oppose them, who are the people that are rebellious, who are the people that need to be eliminated or imprisoned for re-education. In communism in Russia, there was a thing called the Gulag. In Cambodia, it was a prison. There were several of them, but the worst one was S-21, a re-education camp. And so they compile a list of perceived enemies. This is documented. But back to this Polish citizen. You know, he talked about how there was a list in Poland. It was one of the very first thing they did, was compile a list of individuals who they knew would not comply and not roll over. So Antifa they're communists. They don't argue about that. They don't deny that. They come straight out and tell you they're communists. And why wouldn't they, if they're students of communism and communist takeovers, and they'd have to be to make this work, why wouldn't they have a hit list? I mean, those of you who say that, that I'm crazy and Antifa wouldn't have a hit list, honestly, you're just ostriches with your head buried in the sand. Your head buried in the sand. You're just refusing to look at what is obvious. There absolutely is a hit list. People on this hit list include people who are active supporters of the Second Amendment. People on this list are people, because that gives, if you have guns, that gives you the ability to resist. So they want to get rid of those people first. They want to get rid of people who are defiant, who would die for their beliefs. So religious people who feel so strongly about their faith they would die for their beliefs, they're being put on the list. If they're planning an overthrow of our government, and they say that they are, then you would have to be a fool to not believe that there is a list. You put that with what I am telling you about an Antifa hit list. And what you've got here is the truth. What you've got here is a reality. And I found something really interesting. When I first published my hit list video, a person claiming to be a regional director of Antifa came on and mocked me and said, oh, there's no list. The only list I have is the list of people I'd like to have sex with. I have a list of those. Okay, that ought to tell you something. That if a regional director of Antifa thought it was important enough to come on and mock me and make fun of the idea of me having a list, or of them having a list rather, then that alone ought to tell you that they don't want you to know that they have a hit list. So are people about to be targeted for their beliefs, for their independence, for their defiance and rebellion against their ideology? Trust me, they're making a list of Nazis. And let's be clear, a Nazi is anyone they don't agree with. Are you on the list? If not, you probably will be. My light is going dead. You can see me getting darker and darker here. So I'll put an end to this quick video. But yeah, there's a hit list, and I'm on it.